The delivery girl who outsmarted tech's elite. If you're as smart as you think you are, then fix it now. Yelled Michael Harrison, TechCorp's CTO, pointing to the red screens flashing throughout the control center. The system had crashed completely 3 hours ago, paralyzing operations for dozens of client companies. Kesha Williams, 24, was there just to deliver lunch. Her thermal backpack was still slung over her shoulder when she glanced at the error code on the main screen. "Sorry, but that error is caused by a cache memory conflict," she said simply, placing the order on the table. "You tried to reboot the primary server without clearing the pending transaction buffer." The silence was deafening. 20 engineers from top universities, some with six-figure salaries, stared at the black delivery girl who had identified in seconds what they couldn't solve in hours. "Very funny," Michael laughed sarcastically. "I bet you didn't even finish high school. How about you go back to your deliveries and leave the real work to those who understand it?" Kesha's brown eyes remained calm. "When you find out I'm right and the system is back up in exactly 2 minutes after you follow my suggestion, remember this moment." Michael let out an exaggerated laugh. 2 minutes? That system has been down for 3 hours. You really think a food delivery girl is going to teach us something? The system returned to normal exactly 2 minutes later. The backstory. What Michael didn't know was that Kesha had been forced to drop out of her computer science degree in her 3rd year when her mother was diagnosed with cancer. She had to choose between continuing her studies or working to pay for medical treatment. For 2 years, she worked 3 jobs during the day and studied programming during the early hours. Her desk was a cardboard box in the room she shared with her mother, and her lab was a used laptop bought with borrowed money. She had developed her own route optimization system for delivery drivers, more efficient than anything TechCorp had created. She turned survival into a learning opportunity, creating algorithms that maximized her earnings and minimized work time. The sabotage. 3 days after the incident, Michael decided to put the cocky delivery girl in her place. He called every delivery app in the city and used his influence to get Kesha banned. He lied to supervisors, claiming inappropriate behavior and disrespect. Within 24 hours, Kesha received 3 notifications. Her accounts were suspended on all 3 apps. No explanation, no defense, no income. Sitting in her kitchen, staring at her mother's medical bills, Kesha felt a mixture of anger and determination. That night, she started coding something far more ambitious than delivery routes. The Alley. Jennifer Chun, a senior programmer at TechCorp who had defended Kesha that day, secretly recorded a meeting where Michael bragged about destroying Kesha's career. She tracked Kesha down and shared everything. Michael Harrison is a narcissist who can't stand being corrected by anyone, especially a black woman, Jennifer explained, sliding contact details for TechCorp's major clients across the table. "Why are you helping me?" Kesha asked. "Because 3 years ago, Michael tried to fire me after I corrected him. You didn't have union protection, but maybe we can create our own justice." The counterattack. Kesha built a security vulnerability analysis platform that could scan corporate systems and identify critical flaws in real time. During her research, she discovered TechCorp had dozens of critical vulnerabilities that Michael's team of 20 engineers had failed to detect. She created fake profiles and began connecting with CTOs at TechCorp's client companies, offering free security audits. What these companies didn't know was that many vulnerabilities she found came directly from TechCorp's flawed products. When Michael received a call from Megacorp's CTO about critical flaws identified by K. Williams, the phone nearly slipped from his hand. The reckoning. The following Monday, Michael arrived to find 12 contract cancellations in 24 hours, 60% of TechCorp's annual revenue. Then Jennifer sent a company-wide email detailing how Michael had sabotaged Kesha's career, including the recording. Within an hour, every tech website was covering the story. Kesha appeared at the office, officially hired by TechCorp's board to conduct a full audit, accompanied by a lawyer and journalists. "I can show you exactly what I found," Kesha said, opening her laptop. 23 critical vulnerabilities that should have been fixed months ago. Flaws that cost customers at least $4 million in losses. Michael's face went pale. "Our systems passed all checks. Your checks were superficial and incompetent," Kesha replied calmly. Exactly the kind of decision someone makes when they're more concerned with protecting their ego than doing their job properly. Why? Michael asked. You could have just moved on. Kesha looked him straight in the eye. Because someone needed to show that competence has no color, social class, or origin. And because people like you only learn when the consequences are impossible to ignore. The transformation. 6 months later, Kesha sat in her own office on the 21st floor. Her company, Secure Code Solutions, had grown from an idea born of injustice to one of the most respected cybersecurity consulting firms in the country. We have 17 new contracts this month, Jennifer announced. 3 are former Tech Corp clients who came specifically after seeing our work. Michael had been fired. Tech Corp lost 80% of its clients and was considering bankruptcy. Jennifer's recording had gone viral in the tech community. Companies that once fought over Michael's services now avoided him completely. Kesha received an invitation to speak at the National Technology Conference, the same event where Michael had been a keynote speaker for 5 years. This time, he wasn't even on the guest list. You turned an attempt at humiliation into a show of strength, Jennifer observed. The best revenge, Kesha replied, isn't destroying those who hurt you. It's building something so extraordinary that they realize exactly how small they were when they tried to diminish you. Secure Code Solutions now employed 45 people, including many talented professionals underestimated by traditional companies. Kesha had created not just a business, but a movement proving that diversity and technical excellence went hand in hand. Michael Harrison tried to destroy a delivery girl because he couldn't accept she was smarter than him. He ended up losing everything and unwittingly creating one of the most innovative technology companies in the country. True victory isn't about making your enemies suffer, it's about achieving such extraordinary success that they realize they were always too small to understand your greatness. It is not loud revenge or public humiliation that defines triumph, it is the quiet, undeniable elevation of your life to a level they can no longer reach, touch, or even fully comprehend. Real victory begins the moment you decide not to shrink yourself to fight battles that drain your spirit. While others waste their energy plotting downfall, true winners invest their energy in growth. You stop arguing with people who cannot see beyond their own limitations. You stop explaining your dreams to those who lack the courage to dream themselves. You stop proving your worth to people who benefit from doubting you. Instead, you turn inward, refine your discipline, sharpen your vision, and build a life so solid that criticism bounces off it like dust against stone. Your enemies expect you to break. They expect anger, bitterness, or desperation. They expect you to respond on their level, to fight in the mud where they feel powerful. But when you rise above that, when you choose patience over rage and purpose over pettiness, you disrupt their entire narrative. Nothing confuses small minds more than a person who refuses to be controlled by hatred. Nothing unsettles them more than watching you succeed without ever mentioning their name. Extraordinary success is not accidental. It is built in silence, in moments when no one is clapping for you. It is built on nights of self-doubt where you continue anyway, on mornings where fear whispers but discipline answers louder. While others gossip about you, you are learning. While they judge your pace, you are mastering your craft. While they underestimate you, you are laying foundations so deep they will never see the full structure until it towers above them. There comes a moment, inevitable, undeniable, when the distance between you and them becomes too wide to ignore. They start hearing your name in rooms they'll never enter. They see results they can't explain, achievements they can't dismiss. Suddenly, the same people who mocked your beginnings try to rewrite history, claiming they always knew you had potential. But you remember the silence when you needed support, the laughter when you spoke your goals out loud, the doubt disguised as concern. And instead of anger, you feel clarity. That clarity is power, because by then, you no longer need validation. You no longer need apologies. Their opinions have lost all weight. You've outgrown the version of yourself that cared. You understand that some people were never meant to walk with you, they were meant to watch from a distance and learn what happens when persistence meets purpose. True victory also brings humility, not arrogance. You realize that greatness isn't about standing on others' necks, it's about standing firmly on your own values. You don't become cruel just because you were once hurt. You don't become arrogant just because you are now ahead. Instead, you become precise. Selective. Grounded. You choose peace over proving points, focus over flexing, and legacy over ego. And here's the most powerful part: your success becomes a mirror. For some, it will inspire growth. They'll look at you and decide to rise. For others, it will expose their own stagnation, and that discomfort will feel like resentment. Either way, it's no longer your responsibility. You didn't defeat them. You simply evolved beyond them. In the end, your enemies don't suffer because you attacked them. They suffer because your life becomes proof that their doubts were never facts, just reflections of their own fears. They realize too late that while they were busy trying to limit you, you were busy becoming limitless. While they focused on stopping you, you focused on building yourself. And that difference changed everything. That is true victory. Not revenge, not dominance, not applause, but transcendence. You win by becoming so successful, so fulfilled, and so aligned with your purpose that the past loses its power, the noise fades away, and even your enemies are forced to accept one quiet, humbling truth: they were never your competition.